Jerry, in this episode, we're talking about servals.
Ooh, handsome cats.
Yeah, handsome cats. And people asked for this, so here we are.
All right, we'll be right back.
See you soon. Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome back to the show, Southern Oregon Safari.
Where buffalo roam.
And I'm Hayden.
And I'm Jerry.
Today we're going to discuss servals.
Our first episode of the new year.
Yep, welcome to New Year 2024.
You know what yesterday was?
What?
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
There we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Isn't that a little weird? Kind of creepy.
Yes. Well, New Year, January. We're going to start off with the serval cats. Handsome kitties. Hayden, take it away and tell us about these guys.
Well, we're looking at two African servals, and servals are a kind of a smaller cat for the big cats. I consider them kind of like a mid-range cat. They're not. I mean, there's much smaller cats in Africa, and there's much larger cats, obviously lions and stuff like that. But these guys range from 20 to 40 pounds. They got the longest legs of any cat compared to body size. So relative to the body structure, they have the longest leg.
There's got to be a reason.
It's like the caracal, the African caracal. We were talking about one of the highest jumpers is the African caracal. They've got a springy back leg. But these guys live in, they're more of an arid cat. They don't live in rainforests, but they range throughout most of Africa to southern Africa. You will find them sometimes in oak forests and stuff like that, and groves, but they prefer drier climate. They don't like the rainforest, but they're in probably tall grasses, sometimes mud. They just have these long legs. It's probably a hunting thing. Who knows why nature created them that way? But their legs obviously help them jump and run. They're not the fastest runners. They're not the highest jumpers by any means, but they are good hunters. Believe it or not, they live like 98% of their diet is rodents, mostly rats.
Okay.
But they are known to also take stuff larger like a hare or a rabbit.
I could use them on my homestead.
They'll take lizards and frogs and anything. They're opportunistic, so they'll take just about anything they can get, but they prefer smaller prey. Larger prey is not really their thing, but they are known to take baby antelope now and then, which is about the size of their body, if not a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
So they are capable. Even though they are a smaller cat, they don't look like they're that formidable, but let me tell you, they got a very powerful bite. They got a very strong jaw. They are really amazing hunters, and they are very powerful. Which is also, a lot of people want to keep these guys as pets, and I try to tell people all the time, they really are striking beautiful, and some people like to crossbreed them with domestic cats, and you get these F1 and F2 hybrids. And those things are a little bit better and easier to deal with. Mm-hmm. But the serval itself, in its natural form, as 100% serval, is not a good pet, guys. I mean, I know so many people that attempted to get one of these and raise them as a pet and thought they were going to keep it in the house, and it doesn't work out real well. I mean, 1 in 1,000 maybe, but it's really rare that it works out. Now, in Egyptian times, pharaohs would gift these to each other. Oh. Back in those times, they had cheetahs and lions, running around in their villages and stuff. Especially the wealthy and the royals had these guys as pets. The caracals are a little bit more even-keeled usually than the serval, but the serval's pretty tightly wound little animal.
A little high-strung kitty.
Yeah, they got big ears, they got a little head, little jaws for, almost like a house cat head, but if you look at the body, they're way bigger. I mean, they get up to 24 inches in height and in length, so they can get pretty decent size. And these guys are pretty small. She's probably about 15 pounds. This is Sakara, and that is Ramses. And Ramses is about maybe 30 pounds. They can get upwards of 40 pounds. So these are smaller specimens. I have seen them quite a bit larger.
Ooh, she's on the hunt.
Yeah, she sees the house cats over there. And everything is food. They're opportunistic, so they see anything that moves.
Just looks like a rodent to her.
And so she looks down, she sees a house cat running over there, so she thinks she's going to eat that thing.
So Hayden, what's the lifespan of these guys?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Jerry. In the wild, about 10 to 12 years. In captivity, 15 to 20 years is average. So, okay. I've heard of a 22-year-old, but that's after about 15 to 17 years, they start getting pretty decrepit, just like a house cat.
Okay.
So, and the reason they live longer is because they're obviously not having to hunt for food, higher nutrition, less exposure to elements, less chance of getting killed by a predator. There's lots of reasons why.
Just like most animals in captivity.
Pretty much. Veterinary care, we baby them, and they got heated little bedroom in there with
Ooh.
a little insulation. It's insulated buildings, and they can go in and out. And so that stuff all makes them live longer. In the wild, you get beat up a bit.
Nice.
Not that anything replaces the wild, but it's just
Cute.
that's just the reality of it.
Now, I know you have other cats that like the lions, they're social. Others are
Yeah, so
by
most of your
themselves.
cats are solitary, non-social cats. Like your leopards live by themselves. Tigers usually a pretty solitary animal. These guys are solitary. Cheetahs and lions are social cats. They live in groups and they hunt together and they work together and they communicate with each other. These guys really only come together for breeding most of the time. They are territorial. They have ranges of about, I think, 12 to 20 miles, and they protect those areas. Now, they don't fight, really. These guys prefer not to fight. They'll stand off and try to run each other out of town, but they try not to have conflict. They're not powerful enough, and they know better to not really get themselves in a fight if they can avoid it. So most of the time they'll come together, but usually only, and then the babies, the mom, the baby is weaned at a month, stops drinking milk and goes to solid food, and the baby leaves mom at about a year or just before a year old. So they leave pretty young and they get on their own and they just live a solitary life. So they're not a very social animal at all.
Huh. Okay.
So yeah.
Good to know.
Now, Sakara and Ramses are about 3 years old now, and they're rescues. She's perfectly fine and 100% healthy, and he's healthy too, but he's actually missing a leg. We call him the tripod. He's missing a right front leg, and the reason he's missing the leg, again, to talk about the power and the jaw strength, is he stuck his leg in with another serval as a young baby, as a cub, and unfortunately that serval, it didn't happen here. This is before I had him.
Okay.
I took him in after he lost his leg.
Oh,
but
okay.
they had to amputate the leg because the leg was so damaged.
Oh.
But you think about, a house cat's not going to, if you stuck your house cat stuck its leg into another cage with another house cat, it's not going to lose a leg. But we're talking about a wild cat here. So that serval literally shredded his leg to the point where it had to be removed.
I could just tell the difference in the his face is so masculine and full, and her
she's
face
very
is so feminine and
Yeah,
petite.
she is very feminine petite, and he has got the masculine head, and they're just kind of hanging out, checking everything out, but they're watching the cameras and the cats and all that. But these guys are pretty mellow. We try to handle them a lot. They don't really like to be touched too much, but they tolerate us being in there, so we're in there a lot with them. Try to keep them mellow.
Okay.
But, it's really hard. Like I said, a lot of people want to get these as pets. They do not make good pets. They do not stay really. You can't domesticate them. You really can't turn them into what they aren't. They're already wild, and you won't get that out of them.
So what do you feed these guys? Kibbles?
No kibbles. Meat, raw meat. And so
Okay.
they only digest raw meat. I think some people have tried to put them on modified or cooked diets, like processed diets, like cat foods, but you'll really mess them up.
Oh.
They need a lot more calcium and protein and all that, and they need the amino acids that are in the raw meat. So mostly, and because it's more available and easier to feed, I feed a lot of chicken, so poultry.
Okay.
I can give them some turkey now and then I give them a little bit of red meat to mix it up. And they sometimes a squirrel or something gets in there, and you'll find squirrel parts in there, and they will get some stuff and mangle it.
Ooh, playtime!
Every once in a while, I'll get a bird, because obviously the chain link's big enough for the birds and the squirrels to go in. So stuff tries to go in sometimes, especially at night. The rodents come out and start scavenging, so they might have a little piece of chicken in there, and a rodent comes running in there to get the chicken, and bam, I come in here and I find
Warm
mouse
meat.
parts, rat parts.
Yeah.
They do a pretty good job cleaning up.
Wow.
So.
Good kitty.
Good kitties. They're doing their jobs. We like that. Yeah, little hunters.
Oh.
So, but yeah, so that's the African serval.
Well, thank you so much for sharing with us,
My
Hayden. I
pleasure.
appreciate that.
Well, we're glad to be able to be here and do it. And Happy New Year once again, folks.
Yes, we've got more adventures coming your way. We've got a whole list of we're not even to the end of the list of animals that has had. We're going to try to cover them all.
Be an exciting 2024.
Oh yeah, lots. So I'm Jerry Hansen,
I'm Hayden.
and this is
Southern Oregon Safari.
Where Buffalo Roam.
We'll see you again soon.
Bye bye now.
Take care.